the legend. Wisdom, power, courage, the adventure, the puzzles, the music, the boss fights, everything. The Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite series of all time, and for a good reason. Back when I was a child, I played all the time. Let me correct myself. I saw my big brother play it all the time. And when I became teenager, I started to try the series by myself, started with Wind Waker, and I was looking so much forward to Twilight Princess, and I started my own adventure. Not just the adventure I started with my big brother and some of my friends, but my own adventure. And still to this day, every time a new Zelda game get announced, it means something special for me. After a game has been released, we play it for a couple of months and talk about it, and then all the speculation and our hopes and dreams for the next game starts rolling. And I understand why some people is like, please calm down, we have to wait around 6 years for the next Zelda game. But for me, the journey up to the next Zelda game is a big part of the whole thing. And even though I absolutely love Tears of the Kingdom, I need something refreshing. I need a new world. I need a new art style, actually. I need a new art style. Even though I love Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's art style, I need a new take on the series. And that's one of the reasons I always have loved Zelda. It's because every time they try out with a new game, we have a new art style, we have a new world to explore. And that's one of the reasons I really love the series. I love Link, I love Zelda, I love Ganon, and I love the world Hyrule. There are so many things about the game that I love, and it's hard for me to set up the perfect Zelda game. But I have something I really wish we will see for the next Zelda game. Even though Ocarina of Time and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom are two of my favorite games of all time, and my two favorite Zelda games of all time, I still need something different for the next Zelda game. People always say it's not possible to make a perfect game. There are always things you can change. And in some ways, yeah, you're right, but with the Zelda series, we are so close to perfection. So I have 3 things I really hope to see in the next Zelda game. 3 things that will make the game almost, maybe, it will be a perfect game. Of course, there are something around the 3 things that have to be perfect as well. And I think Ocarina of Time and Tears of the Kingdom are so close to be perfect that there only are smaller things. Maybe they can borrow for each other. And if they take a little bit of Ocarina of Time and a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom, we can cook it together and make something truly special. And that is what I wish for the next Zelda game. I know it's early, but we never know when Nintendo will say a new Zelda game is in development. I have a feeling that we will see it pretty close with the launch of Zelda of the Nintendo Switch 2. We have to know we are going to get a new Zelda game, and they want to tease for it. I have a feeling we will still have to wait around 5 years to 4 years for the next 3D Zelda game. But you have to understand the teasers, the talk about it starts way before that the game is out. So I don't think it's a bad time to talk about what I hope for the next Zelda game. Before we start my top 3 over things I wish for the next Zelda game, you have to understand this is just my opinion. I know some people have it differently than that I have, and I know some people may think if we get these things, that will break the formula that I really love about the Zelda universe, and I understand that. I really understand why people don't want these things, but if you ask me, I really wish that these 3 things is going to happen in the next Zelda game.
Witness the blood moon's rise.
The first thing I want to include in the next Zelda game is a start of the game. There was something about the beginning in Ocarina of Time, where you was born and raised up in the Kyria forest. There was something special about it. You are a child that are different than all the others in the forest. You know you're different. You don't have the fairy and people are bullying you, and you have your best friend Saria and She have been by your side for a long time, and you have a deep connection to her. And already from the beginning, I'm captivated in the story. We have the little forest where you have been raised, you have your best friend, and you have a journey in front of you. You don't know anything about the big world outside. You're just living in the little forest, and that's your world. And that's a great beginning for an adventure. Then you start to hear that there's something wrong in the world. You get Navi who comes to you and say, I have to follow you to the Great Deku Tree that tells the story about the Triforce and Ganondorf and things like that. And it's just an epic start. And after you have defeated the first dungeon, you will start on your adventure out to Hyrule Field, and you have to say goodbye to Saria. When that happened, when I played Ocarina of Time together with my big brother, that was a sad moment. I was not that old, I was around 8 years old, and it was like saying goodbye to a friend you had since kindergarten. And your ways have to split up. You have to say goodbye to your home, the forest. So I said goodbye, and Saria said, "Don't forget me." And we wasn't sure if we ever was going to see each other again. And when you come back as an adult Link, there is something crazy when you come back to Kakiri Force. Things have changed. For me, Ocarina of Time was a playthrough of many years, and I know if you just play Ocarina of Time nowadays, you can come to that area when you went back to Kakiri Force pretty fast. But for me, it was a journey with my big brother, and it was a very big moment. And I really hope for the next Zelda game, we will get and capture that feeling that you are on an adventure where you start in an area and you have to explore the world, and later you will come back to the beginning area and things have changed. I want to have a feeling in my next Zelda game where I say goodbye to something that I can come back to at a certain point in the game. And I know people just want to have a big open world where you can explore everything all the time. And I'm different. I have a different feeling. Sometimes I want some path closed off, so we can get to the point later and they're having something different. I don't know how they can make it, but because I still want it to be an open Zelda game in some way, but I still want to have a structure in the game where you can come back to a place later and the things have changed and you haven't been allowed to enter that area in a certain point into the game. And then you come back, people you have known back then have changed. There happened something with the story. Maybe you are grown up, maybe you're in a dark split of the world or something like that. Maybe you are in the past. Maybe you see yourself as a smaller Link, even, and you are the grown-up Link. You meet yourself in the next Zelda game. That would be actually pretty epic. Now I think about it. If you play as Link and then you come back to an area later and there happened something in the story where you meet yourself, and the younger you can't recognize you and you have to oh, that would be epic! Holy shit! Nintendo, listen to me! That's the plan and the history for the next Zelda game. Okay, but the thing I want to tell is that I really hope that we will get the feeling of returning back to an area from the start, where you didn't have anything, you didn't know about the world, you haven't met all the characters in the world, you haven't defeated any bosses yet, you haven't explored many mysteries yet. You start in the beginning area, you start your journey. 100 hours after that, you come back to this beginning area and something has changed. That magical feeling, I hope I will get that in the next Zelda game. The second wish for the next Zelda game is the build up to the dungeons. And I know Tears of the Kingdom got that, and that's one of the best things in the whole game. The build up to the Sky Tower, the Sky Dungeon. I can't remember, was it the Sky Tower? It was called the Sky Ship. The music changed while you're climbing your way up to the ship. It's so epic. You are high up in the sky. I've never seen gameplay mechanics in the Zelda games like that before. It's so epic, and I really hope we will see that for the next Zelda game. The build up to the dungeons. Often when I think about Ocarina of Time dungeons that I really love, you're in an area and people are telling the dungeon is over at that place and you have to solve some puzzles, and you can easily enter the dungeon often, and then when you enter the dungeon, the whole mystery and the difficulty is in the dungeon. But I really love the build up to the water temple. People hate the water temple, but the build up to the water temple, where you have to solve the mystery, how to get it, was so difficult for me, and I had used so many hours to figure it out. And when it clicked, when I saw the tear in the sky to make the key to the temple, it was a blast to open the temple and to explore it. I felt like a genius. So I really love the build up to the dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom, and I hope they will continue that in the next Zelda game. Because from now on, if we don't have a build up, it will just feel weird for me in the next Zelda game. That's one of the favorite things in Tears of the Kingdom. We need the build-ups as a thing forever. So even though we had it in the last Zelda game, it's still a wish for the next Zelda game. It's a very important thing. And it's a thing that people don't talk enough about. I know people talk about it, but for me, it should be the main topic about Tears of the Kingdom, because it's so good. The third thing I really wish for the next Zelda game is an incredible story. And I know a lot of people really love the story in Ocarina of Time. I do by myself, and I love the story in The Wind Waker. I really wish that the Zelda team will try to take a risk. Tell a story where something really important happens, where some important character dies that you haven't seen, that you didn't see coming. Important character, maybe I don't know. Maybe make the next game the last Zelda game, and after that just make games that are before that game. Make the next Zelda game where Link or something die for good, or something like that. No, the thing I'm trying to say, it would be crazy if, as an example, the Great Deku Tree ending up dying in the next Zelda game for good, and will never return in the game. So in the ending of the cutscene, he's just gone. And maybe in the credit scenes, after you have seen Zelda and Link and all the characters you have met, like in Ocarina of Time, dancing around a bonfire, and the credits rolls, the epic music are there, and then in the last seconds of the credits cutscene, they zoom into where the Deku Tree normally was placed, and then there's nothing. There's nothing. It's just gone. And then you see the end. That will make such a huge impact if they try to do something crazy with the storytelling. Or something, yeah, like I said at the first wish, that you're meeting yourself in the game. That would be a pretty epic thing, actually. But yeah, I really just hope for a story with some power that can rock our socks off. But yeah, that's my 3 wishes for the next Zelda game. Otherwise, I just want the whole packages from Tears of the Kingdom and Ocarina of Time melt together like a great cake. And yeah, I'm not complaining. I have been eating good with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I really love the game, and I think it's one of the best games of all time. And I can't wait for the next Zelda game on the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully, yeah, of course it will be for the next Nintendo Switch 2, but I can't wait. But let me know down in the comment section what your wishes for the next Zelda game are. I'm very, very interesting to hear your thoughts and feeling about wishes for the next Zelda game. But thank you so much for watching the whole video. This was Stank from the P-Wing. Purple love to you all. Bye!